Live stream's up.
Here we go. That is the wrong. Oh, yeah. Hold on. You might want the other questions. They were less rounds. It's really easy. Yeah. Right. Here we go. National History v. Varsity final round. Good luck, everybody. Fun. Toss up one. While ruling over this city, Umuro Sumitada became the first daimyo to convert to Christianity, opening this city. Red 4.
Nagasaki.
Correct for 6. Toss up 2. The first executive director of this organization was David Ross Brown, who organized an expedition which led to the authoring of Time and the River Flowing. Michael McCloskey once led this organization, and Robert D. Bullard asked this organization to change the name of an award for conservation efforts. This organization, red 2, incorrect, neg 2, created a decimal system for ranking the difficulties of rock climbing, which was named after Yosemite. For the points, name this environmental organization founded in 1892 by John Muir. Green 2, that is correct for 3. 0. Toss up 3. The Fra Ruang dynasty was the only royal family to rule this kingdom, which was first established by Sai Ingrathy. This kingdom reached its peak during the reign of Ramkhamhaeng, who firmly established Theravada Buddhism as the state religion, and is credited with creating an alphabet. Following the death of its last ruler, Waramapa, this kingdom became a tributary under the Ayutthaya. For the points, name this post-classical Thai kingdom, often considered green 3.
Sukhothai.
Correct for 4. Toss up 4. In 1666, this commander defeated George Monk and George Iceview during one of the longest naval battles in history, the 4 Days Battle. This commander, green 5.
Sure.
Correct for 6. Toss up 5. In one of this artist's large altarpieces, Coronation of the Virgin, saints are arranged in concentric harmony around a radiant Christ figure amid extensive use of gold ground. Most of this artist's works were frescoes painted for the individual cells of the Dominican convent of San Marco, intended for contemplative green 5.
Rico.
Correct for 5. Toss up 6. This person befriended the leader of the Pacific movement of the Eastern world, who inspired him to portray Japan as the origin of the lunar plane. This person may have been the same person as the Oregonian tamale vendor, Fred the Turk.
Wallace Fard Muhammad.
That is correct. That is red 4. Correct for 5. Toss up 7. John F. Kennedy wrote an article about this politician for the Encyclopedia Britannica, and this politician authored letters of a landholder alongside red 3. Correct for 5. Oh, this was. Toss up 8. Piper's Hill is home to a memorial dedicated to this battle, after which the Earl of Argyll was buried at Kilmun Parish Church. Taking place during the War of the League of Cambrai, this battle was sometimes named for green 5. Correct for 6. Toss up 9. Due to money from the Brotherhood of Eternal Love, this person was smuggled out of prison in a getaway truck driven by Clayton von Leinegrad. This person, who created the 8th Circuit model of consciousness, coined the term reality tunnel and carried out an experiment to investigate a psychoactive drug in the Concord green 2.
Theory.
Correct for 4. Theory. Toss up 10. This battle was partially fought on a bridge near the Von Miller Monument, which was rebuilt to celebrate the anniversary of the founding of Tuma. In this battle, Rifles Battalion Commander Arthur Sandus, red 4. Wayaka is correct for 6. And at 10 on the board, we have Jason 17, Patrick 5, Rohan Neg 2, Ion 17, Parker 4, and Spencer 7. Toss-up 11. This colonel founded Fort Keogh and served as commandant of the prison where Jefferson Davis was held, Fort Monroe. This commander made Charles Gatewood his aide-de-camp, but refused to allow him to attend a gala in Tucson. This man led soldiers in the suppression of the Pullman strike, and following the Spanish-American War, this general made references to embalmed beef. Red 5.
Miles?
Correct for 4. Toss-up 12. This architect designed a building gutted by the 1973 National Archives fire, and also designed a series of high-rises which Lee Rainwater studied before being demolished in 1972. This architect, who avoided being interned in one war due to the help of Shreve, Ram, Green 2.
Yamasaki.
Correct for 5. Toss-up 13. After centuries of ruin, the castle at this location was redesigned by Edwin Lutyens as a country estate for Henry Hudson. St. Cuthbert was made bishop of this place toward the end of his life and was buried there after his death. A community of Irish priests created Green 2. Incorrect. Neg 2. The religious text most closely associated with this location.
Lindisfarne?
Green 3, that is correct for 5. Toss-up 14. This thinker analyzed one culture's traditions of growing taro through the lens of spell. Red 5.
Malinowski?
Correct for 6. Toss-up 15. This organization planted a flag at Camp Owl near Chimes Tower during the occupation of Catalina Island. Green 5. I'm sorry, time? That is Neg 2. Dorothy Cutler directed a People's Health Center that was opened by this group in the Chicago area and named Green 2.
Rainbow Push.
Incorrect. Neg 2. For Benito Juarez. Gloria Arellanes was the only female prime minister of this group, though she left to create the Las Adalitas de Aztlan. Red 2. Incorrect. Neg 2. Carlos Montes and David Sanchez founded for the Points what Chicano paramilitary group modeled after the Black Panthers and whose
Brown Berets.
That is red 4, correct for 4. Toss-up 16. This state's ruler, Gaigatu, whose Tibetan name literally means jewel diamond, received an explanation from Bolad and printed out paper money with Chinese words on the notes. Timurtash was a Travanid viceroy of Anatolia who served as a ruler of this state named Abu Sayyid Bahadur Khan. The founder of this state was a son of Ptolemy who sacked Green 3.
Ilkhanate.
Correct for 4. Correct for 5. Toss-up 17. This thinker wrote an inquiry into the nature of peace and the terms of its perpetuation after serving on Woodrow Wilson's Peace Commission. In another work, this thinker described how the poorest classes engaged in the most Green 2. That's time. Neg 2. Economically productive work, while a newly wealthy group spent their time and money impressing others.
Vaguely.
That is red 5, correct for 5. Toss-up 18. In the aftermath of this conflict, roughly 3,000 citizens of one country were interned in Dioli. This conflict saw one side attack 4 posts in the area of Jake Spanger, and a boundary formed in the aftermath of this conflict came to be known as the line of actual control. The Northeast, Green 2.
Card all order.
I'm sorry, that is time. That is Neg 2. The northeast frontier.
The Cargill.
Incorrect, neg 2. Sorry, that was red 4, incorrect, neg 2. The Northeast Frontier Agency near Bhutan saw fighting during this conflict. Green 5.
Sign of Indian War.
That's correct for 5. Toss up 19. Following this battle, one side established the Republic of Mons. During the climax of this battle, winning General Francois Christophe de Calament decried Vive la Nation. Green 5. I'm sorry, tie. That is neg 2. To crush the morale of the Prussians. Due to the impact of this battle, which preceded the levy en masse, the National Convention, green 4.
Sedan.
Incorrect, neg 2. Formally abolished the French monarchy. That is red 3, and that is correct for 5. Toss up 20. This journalist was the first woman to enter the Boston Red Sox locker room. This woman, who wrote an article titled How to Dump Lyndon Johnson, also wrote the book Lyndon Johnson and the American Dream. In 1995, this historian won the Pulitzer Prize for authoring No Ordinary Times, Franklin and Eleanor Roosevelt. For the points, name this American historian who described men like Edward Bates, Salmon Chase, and William Seward in her biography of Abraham Lincoln, Team Red 3. Correct for 4. And on the board after 20, we have Ani 15, Jason 19, Patrick 14, Rohan neg 4, Ion 18, Nathaniel neg 2, Parker 14, and Spencer 4. Swap. We have 25 toss-ups. 45. Long and good. Toss-up 21. In this conflict, Ralph Brown created a machine called the Art of Safety. During this conflict, a bomb injured Charles B. Gatewood, and Asa Mercer wrote about this conflict in the book Banditti of the Plains. William Red Angus took part in this conflict, in which the Shuds affray involved Buffalo soldiers, and this war, Red 3. Incorrect, neg 2. Buffalo soldiers. Oh, sorry. And this war also included the siege of the TA Ranch, featuring the falsely accused wrestler named Champion.
Johnson County War.
That is correct for 4. Toss up 22. This initiative replaced a previous system of forced grain requisitioning with a fixed tax called the Crodna Law. This policy was introduced in 1921 to replace green budget. Correct for 6. Toss up 23. Following this battle, the winning commander raided Cilicia until he was repulsed by Septimius Odaenathus. Unrest resulting from this battle allowed Postumus to establish the Gallic Empire, while Gallienus was distracted putting down revolts. Green 5. Correct for 5. Toss up 24. Formalities of this agreement were laid out in a 1930 meeting at the ski town of Strebske. Plato, historian Adam Magda, said that this agreement was created to keep a powerless country down and called it the bane of Central Europe. This alliance was out. Green 5.
Little Anton.
Correct for 5. Toss up 25. This conflict began after one side tattooed an ultimatum on green 2. Correct for 6. The Ionian Revolt. Toss up 26. In this city, Carleton and Hovey created a cough medicine called Father John's Medicine. And while working for this city's Appleton Company, Uriah Boyden created the Boyden Turbine. Workers in this city wrote a poetry collection initially organized by Abel Charles Thomas, which had a first issue called A Letter About Old Maids. Sarah Bagley supported. That is correct. Red 3, correct for 5. Toss up 27. Royal Standard Bearer Walter Blount was killed at this battle, where St. Mary Magdalene's Church was built in the village of Battlefield. This battle occurred at the manor of Earlstadt, and men fell like leaves in autumn at this battle, according to Thomas Walsingham. The Prince of Wales, who was wounded at this battle, was treated by John Bradford. Green 3.
Shrewsbury.
That is correct for 5. Shrewsbury. Toss-up 28. Arthur Link claimed this congressman's unsuccessful child labor bill was a turning point in American constitutional history because it was the first attempt to use the Commerce Clause to justify federal control over working conditions. This person ousted Colonel James Guppy as Pennsylvania's Democratic National Committeeman, and this person, who lost a Senate election to Boys Penrose, became synonymous with a series of Red Scare raids. Red 4. Correct for 4. Toss-up 29. This leader's predecessor's policy of 3 represents was departed from in favor of this man's scientific development perspective. Green 2.
Fusion Tower.
Correct for 6. Toss-up 30. Ted Kennedy, Daniel Patrick Moynihan, and this politician created the Congressional Friends of Ireland. After bribes from Tongson Park were revealed, Red 4.
Tip O'Neill.
Tip O'Neill's correct for 6. After 30, our scores are Ani 15, Jason 29, Patrick 17, Rohan neg 4, Ion 34, Nathaniel neg 2, Parker 19, and Spencer 20. Toss-up 31. In a work titled Memorial, this person suggested a plan to eliminate the town of Asuncion and create hospitals with wings in a cross shape. This Bishop of Chiapas, who once replied, "All the world is human," argued against slavery. Green 2.
De las Casas.
Correct. Correct for 6. Toss-up 32. While in Indochina, this leader married Wen Di, and he later identified Wen's daughter Martine by finding a scar on her foot. Protests against this leader led a massacre of students in the Ngaragba prison massacre, and this ruler took power with the help of Alexander Banza in the San Green 2.
Costa.
Correct for 5. Bokassa. Toss-up 33. It doesn't feature Winnie the Pooh, but this cartoon recycled some of the pink elephants on parade sequence from Dumbo. At the end of this cartoon, its main character kisses a miniature Statue of Liberty and states how glad he is to be in a Red 5.
Their Fury.
Correct for 6. Sorry, correct for 5. Toss-up 34. This wrestling champion was instantly converted to one faith after reading the Tahasura. This leader constructed a new worship center on the Temple Mount after taking Jerusalem from Heraclius. This leader was killed by a Persian slave 7 years after Caesar. Green 5.
Umar.
Correct for 5. Toss-up 35. This scientist, who is considered one of the pneumatic chemists of the 1700s, produced water from deflagellistic Red 2.
We see you.
Incorrect neg 2. Dephlogisticated air. This scientist conducted an experiment in 1797 which used a torsion balance. Cavendish is correct for 6. Toss-up 36. One leader of this dynasty negotiated a peace with Louis VII by arranging a marriage between Henry the Young King and Margaret. Green 3.
Angela.
Say that again.
Angela.
Incorrect. Neg 2. This dynasty, which largely collapsed in the Treaty of La Goulet, was created by the Treaty of Wallingford. Red 3. Incorrect. Neg 2. Philip Augustus ended this dynasty's dominance. Green 5.
Plantagenet.
That's correct for 5.
Can I press?
Leslie, Angerman is in the answer line.
So sorry, Angerman is in the answer line. That was correct for 6.
So my neck goes away.
Your neck goes away.
Drunk bug.
Give us a second. Yeah, give us a second to fix the scores. That brought Parker up. I think we're good. Oh, yeah, that was 6.
Yep, we got it in here. Thank you both. Toss up 37. This religion, which experienced a schism between the Delawars and the Sea of Babylon, was brought to Rome by Sati. Bahram II caused the death of the first green 5. That's correct for 6.
Funny.
You are at 45. You are within distance. Toss up 38. In a keynote address at the 1988 Democratic National Convention.
And Richards.
2. That is correct for 6. Toss up 39. Supposedly, a ruler of this empire offered 100 Roman denarii for the head of a Buddhist monk, though he was killed by a yaksha who was helped by Phoenicia. The Heliodorus pillar was sent to this empire's leader, Bhagavadra, and the last ruler of this empire, Devabhuti, was killed by Vasudeva. This empire, which fought Demetrius I, green 3.
Gupta.
Incorrect, neg 2. Of Bactria in wars, green 4.
Aurea.
Incorrect, neg 2. Involving the Greco-Bactrian kingdom, had its capital at cities like Besnagar. Green 5. Correct for, correct for 5. And congratulations. Toss up 40. This president who created the Department of Indigenous Affairs and oversaw the federal green 2.
Coolidge.
Incorrect, neg 2. Regulation on drug addictions to decriminalize drug sales faced a revolt from his Secretary of Agriculture, Ceterino Cedillo. This president, the first to govern over a 6-year term known as a sexenio, read 4.
Cardenas.
Correct for 5. And our scores after 40, Ani 26, Jason 34, Patrick 17, Rohan neg 6, Ion out, Nathaniel neg 4, Parker 23, and Spencer 35. We have 5 to go. Toss up 41. This athlete worked with Medgar Evers' brother Charles to establish an integrated basketball camp in Mississippi. Red Auerbach traded Star Center, red 5.
Algie Baylor.
Incorrect, neg 2. Center Ed McCauley and Clint Hagan to the St. Louis Hawks to acquire this grade 2. That is correct for 5. Toss up 42. Herodotus described huge gold and emerald versions of these objects in the Tyrian temple of Melkart, who was identified with their creator. Seneca said these objects, known as Calpe and Avila, were made by splitting a mountain to give passage to Erythia, but they may have been erected to commemorate victory. That is correct for 5. Toss up 43. This speech noted that we are sure that ours was a nation of the ballot, not the bullet, before mentioning the deaths of John F. Kennedy and red 2.
I've been to the Up and Top.
Incorrect, neg 2. Martin Luther King Jr. This speech discussed the implications of the phrase sound as a dollar before contrasting with 10 years of inflation. This speech, that is correct for 5. Toss up 44. A dynasty of rulers from this city included Mescalinda, whose queens may have included Wabi. The cylinders of Nabonidus originated from Sipar, and this city-state, where a priestess to the moon god Nana, named Enheduanna, was the daughter of Sargon of Atum. Green 4.
Baroque.
Incorrect. Akkad. Figures excavated at this site's Great Death Pit include the ram in a thicket artifact. For the points, name this ancient Sumerian city near Nazariah, Iraq, which was excavated by Leonard Woolley. Green 2. Is correct for 3. And to toss up the last, this territory was home to the southernmost Franconian dialects, but also included a Romance-speaking zone around Metz. The city of Colmar was once part of this region, which lay west of Baden, and this region, red 3.
Rhineland.
Incorrect. Negative 2. Red 2.
Sorrow.
Incorrect. Negative 2. Green 3.
Alsace Lorraine.
Alsace-Lorraine is correct for 5. All right, we have no ties. All right, so our final scores at the end of this round, and we stay here because Ms. Brown will be in to do like the awards. But our final scores, we have Rohan negative 10, Nathaniel negative 6, Patrick 20, Parker 28, Ani 29, Jason 34, Spencer 43, and Ion at 50. Congratulations, everybody.